The Y-20 transport aircraft, despite being promoted by China as a symbol of its growing military power, continues to face fundamental issues that undermine its credibility as a modern strategic airlifter. While the aircraft has been in development for over a decade, and entered service in limited numbers, its actual capabilities remain far below the standards set by established Western heavy-lift aircraft. The Y-20 serves more as a political tool than a reliable, proven system, with numerous shortcomings that expose the weaknesses of China's broader defense industrial base. One of the most significant flaws is the aircraft's troubled engine situation. For years, China depended on outdated Soviet-era D-30, KP-2, engines, which were originally designed for early Cold War bombers and commercial airliners, not modern heavy transport aircraft. These engines are inefficient, noisy, and lack the thrust required for high-performance missions. Their use reflects China's ongoing inability to produce advanced, high-bypass turbofan engines domestically, a critical capability for any nation aiming to field world-class military aviation platforms. The introduction of the WS-20 engine is often presented as a solution to this problem, but its long development delays, lack of transparency, and limited production volumes suggest otherwise. Even now, there is no credible evidence that this engine has reached the levels of reliability, fuel efficiency, and operational durability demanded by global heavy airlift operations. The aircraft's overall performance is also lacking. Official Chinese sources claim a payload capacity of around 60 to 66 tons, but this figure has not been confirmed through transparent, independent data. Even if accurate on paper, there is little indication that the Y-20 can maintain that payload over strategic distances or under adverse conditions. Comparatively, Western platforms such as the C-17 Globemaster III are capable of carrying heavier loads farther, with decades of verified operational history, including combat, disaster relief, and global logistical missions. The Y-20 has not demonstrated similar versatility or endurance. Without a credible track record, the aircraft remains an unproven platform that depends on state-managed narratives rather than measurable outcomes. The refueling capability of the Y-20, in its tanker variant, also reveals a technological lag. The aircraft uses a probe and drogue method, relying on soft hoses, which is both outdated and operationally limited. This system is significantly slower than the rigid boom refueling methods used by more advanced tankers. The limitations in fuel delivery rate reduce the efficiency of airborne refueling operations, making it harder to support fast jet deployments or maintain persistent air coverage. This places constraints on China's ability to conduct extended missions over long distances, especially during combat or high-intensity scenarios. Design credibility is another issue. The Y-20 closely resembles the U.S. C-17, with near-identical layout and structure, down to the high-mounted wings, T-tail, and fuselage dimensions. This has led to widespread criticism from Western observers, who view the Y-20 not as an original design but as the product of industrial espionage or unauthorized copying. China's defense industry has a long history of reverse engineering foreign military hardware, and the Y-20 fits this pattern. Rather than being a triumph of domestic innovation, it reflects the country's dependence on external sources for baseline design concepts. This undermines claims of self-reliance and technological advancement. Beyond the aircraft itself, the logistics infrastructure required to fully support heavy transport operations is another area where China lags. Fielding a large aircraft is only part of the equation. Maintaining, servicing, and deploying it reliably across global distances requires a mature logistical framework. This includes global basing access, support personnel, spare parts supply chains, and ground handling systems, all areas in which China lacks experience and capability. Without these systems in place, the Y-20's strategic value is significantly diminished. Operational deployment history is limited, raising questions about how the aircraft performs under real-world pressure. While China has used the Y-20 in limited non-combat operations, such as delivering medical supplies or deploying personnel domestically, these missions are not a true test of its strategic lift capacity. There is no public data showing repeated, full-capacity missions under high-tempo conditions. In contrast, Western heavy-lift aircraft have proven themselves over decades in complex and demanding environments, from sustained combat missions to humanitarian crises around the world. The Y-20 is also symbolic of deeper structural issues in China's defense sector. The aircraft is frequently showcased in military parades and state media, but this visibility often masks its underlying weaknesses. It is used to project the illusion of parity with Western powers, but this is more about image than substance. The rushed promotion of such platforms, before they have been fully tested or validated, points to a system more concerned with political optics than operational effectiveness. This approach leads to inflated claims, underdeveloped technologies, and fragile systems that may not survive the pressures of actual wartime conditions. The Y-20 suffers from serious limitations in engine technology, payload flexibility, refueling efficiency, design credibility, operational maturity, and supporting infrastructure. Despite its sleek appearance and public visibility, it remains a vulnerable and incomplete platform. The aircraft is emblematic of China's broader pattern of emphasizing propaganda over proven capability, presenting a facade of military strength while core weaknesses persist beneath the surface. Western analysts consistently view the Y-20 as a second-tier system that has yet to prove itself in any meaningful operational context, and it is likely to remain inferior to established Western heavy-lift aircraft for the foreseeable future.